What is going on, beautiful people? I hope you are having an amazing day. Welcome back to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. I'm your host, Jay Nixon. And if you know anything about me or you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you know that my goal is to help you live your happiest, healthiest life while on the quest to cure obesity. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I am immensely grateful that you spend your time listening to me rant and ramble about all things health, wellness, abundance, and opportunity. It absolutely means the world to me. Today's episode is sponsored by my brand new weight loss transformation program called Flex. Flex stands for a flexible lifestyle eating and exercise program. And my promise is this: it will be the last program you ever need to purchase. It is a weight loss program that is not a diet. I know that just blew your mind. This is not a diet. There's no pills, potions, or false promises that you have to purchase. There's no fad, no covers of magazines, no doctors in lab coats. This is real deal lifestyle transformation that is going to change your life forever. You will never need to do another diet. You're going to get expert level support and accountability. You're going to get transformative information about how to eat, when to eat, what to eat. There's 3 reasons that people struggle with weight loss. It's too much, too often, or the wrong combination. They're either eating too much food, too often, or they're eating the wrong combinations. And I'm going to help you fix all 3 of those. Thousands of people just like you have ditched the depressive diet roller coaster, have come on board with the Thrive Forever Fit Flex program and are transforming their lives. We've got clients that have lost 10 pounds in the first 7 days, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. We've got clients that are over 130 pounds down. Guys, I promise you, this is the last program you'll ever need to purchase. And I am more than honored to offer it to you so that I can help you on your journey. All right, let's get to the show. What is going on, beautiful humans? Welcome to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. I'm your host, Jay Nixon, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. I've got a special episode for you today. Today is a snapshot into my mind, into my brain. And what I mean by that is I consume a lot of information, a lot of content, and I'm really good at auditing that content. So my philosophy on that is audit your inputs. And so if something comes into my world that I find valuable, I try to implement it immediately, introduce it into my life, into my routine, into my world, and I try to implement on that, act upon that. If it's worthless, something that needs to be, just taken in and then discarded, I have a delete function in which I try to delete it immediately, meaning I just get rid of it, like get it out of my brain, get it out of my ecosystem so it has nothing to do with my activities or my thought processes. Oftentimes, and this is the power of the human brain, a thought will come to me out of perceivably nowhere. I know I've read it somewhere, I've heard it somewhere, I've listened to it somewhere, but it'll just pop back into my brain. And that's what happened with this particular idea, this particular theory, this particular concept. It's the concept of aggressive patience. And I was on one of my walks and I had thought about this and it just popped into my brain and I couldn't remember where I heard it. I couldn't remember where I read it, where I listened to it, how did it get there? Did I conjure it up? Did I dream it? Did somebody put it into my brain? I couldn't remember. And you'll hear me say that. Today, I'm going to share with you a little snippet, a little clip of the conversation I was having with my private coaching clients in the Thrive Forever Fit Flex program. So you're going to hear that today. And in part of it, I'm even saying, I don't even know where this came from. Well, as I reflected more upon it, I think, and I'm going to use think because I do consume a lot of information. And sometimes I consume it. I think I've either got rid of it or I've used it, but this particular thing, I didn't know what it was. But I believe that I got the idea from like a little snippet that I heard from an Andy Frisella. I don't know if it was his Instagram, his Facebook, his whatever it is. I don't know if it was from a podcast clip or whatever. So Andy owns First Form. He's part of the RTA Syndicate, and he's one of the founders of the RTA Syndicate, and he is also the host of the Real AF podcast with Andy Frisella. So really super popular podcast. Most of you guys have probably heard of it. But he mentioned this the other day. It was just like a little 30-second idea. And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, what does that mean to me? Like, what does aggressive patience mean to me? And this is a good reminder for you guys that everything in life and or nothing in life has meaning until we give it meaning, until we give it attention. And so this was the same for that. I'd never thought about that concept before of aggressive patience. I heard Andy say it, or I read it on one of his posts or something of that nature. And then weeks later, as I'm on one of my walks, it pops into my brain. And then for a week, I start thinking about it. And then I reach out to my buddy, Tommy Baker, and I'm like, Tommy, have you ever thought of this? Have you ever thought of the idea of aggressive patience? And then I'm like, because Tommy's part of my circle of success. So that's a whole other topic and conversation. But get yourself an awesome circle. Get yourself a circle of people that think like you do, think bigger than you do. You can have big conversations with. Like Tommy and I don't talk about the weather. We don't talk about nonsense. We talk about like really, like if you guys had a snapshot into like some of our private conversations, you'd be like, these two dudes are like weird. I mean, they're talking about like, deep stuff, but you need that. Like this superficial level living that we're doing is just not providing us any value. So get yourself somebody of extreme value. Tommy's one of those people for me. So I asked him this and he's like, unpack that. Tell me more about it. And so I started thinking more deeply about it, right? So it was the conversation that he wanted me to expand upon that got me to expand upon it in my own brain. And so this is so powerful for a lot of reasons. You can have an idea, and if you don't expand on it, if you don't have somebody you can expand upon it with, and sometimes that's yourself, right? You got to start with yourself, but sometimes it's just asking questions of other people that you really respect and have a code of conduct with that allows you to bounce ideas and thoughts and concepts and things off of each other. And so that's what happened. I started thinking more deeply about it. And that's what you're going to hear today as I share with my private group this little idea and this little thought, because I started thinking about how this could benefit them. This could benefit you. This could benefit anybody on their journey, especially in the world of weight loss, which I live in and which was I'm a coach in, and I do all of those things. But if you need to be aggressive, right? You need to have this persistent passion for momentum and success and progress. But at the same time, you've got to understand that anything worth having, anything of value is going to require some patience. It's going to require time. And I see people fail and quit all the time. And the only way you can fail is if you do quit. I see people quit all the time because their aggressiveness doesn't match their expectations for how quickly things should be happening for them. They have no patience associated with that. And the way that you do that is you're going to hear me kind of describe, and I'm unpacking this in this clip you're going to hear in a really raw fashion. I'm still in the process of like going through this and figuring out what does it mean to me and how do I implement it. But I think you're going to get some extreme value out of this. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to let you tap in. I think you're going to have some good takeaways, and I'd like to hear what you think about this. So comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. Send me a note if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms. You can DM me on Instagram, on Facebook, comment on my Facebook page when I post this, my Instagram. Just reach out to me. Let me know what you think about this and how this concept might be beneficial for you. And let's have a conversation about it. Let's get deep in the weeds and have some success and have some awesomeness. So my goal for you and my hope for you out of this is that you find some value, and it requires you. It activates some thought processes in you that get you further away from where you are now and closer to where it is that you really want to be, closer to living that life that you really, truly deserve to be living. So enjoy the podcast, guys. Let me know what you think. Uber appreciate you for listening. Gratitude out the doors for the time that you take to listen to the show and like the show, comment, share it, all those things that you guys do on a weekly basis. I am unbelievably grateful for that. I can't believe how lucky I am to have beautiful humans like you in my world. I'm so thankful for you. So enjoy the show. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, bye. I'm going to let you in like behind the scenes of like just my notes, if you will, like my life notes. So every day I walk for at least 2 hours. So I call it my morning walk. I call a walk and work. So I walk while I do conference calls. I walk while I do coaching calls. I walk while I have business calls. I walk and do some form of fashion. The afternoon will be the same thing, a walk and work, unless Lori's with me. And then we do our team building exercise, which I'll share with you guys at some point. Uber beneficial and uber powerful for just a positive, thriving relationship that you could probably all get some massive value from. It's been really cool for us. So remind me, and I'll share that with you guys at a later call, but I don't want to give you too much today to kind of go over. So today I'm on my morning walk and I get a message from one of the members of my circle of success, like my personal growth group. And I get these from time to time and it just says, bro, what are you working on today? And at that moment, I happen to be in deep thought about a concept that I don't know if it's a concept, an idea, or what it is, that I don't even really know. I didn't even really know until he asked me to describe it to him, of how I was going to articulate it. But I just want to share with you my notes on this because I think maybe you'll find some value in this. And I believe it will help you on your journey, because if you guys could implement this, it would be just unbelievably beneficial. So I'm going to give it to you and then we'll unpack it a little bit if we need to. And so it's a term or a concept or a belief or a philosophy that I don't even know where I got it. I don't know if I read it. I don't know if I heard it. I don't know if I dreamed it up. I don't know where it came to me from, but it's been on my mind like all week. And it's what I'm calling like aggressive patience. Now that's kind of like jumbo shrimp. It doesn't really make any sense. Like normally you don't hear the words aggressive patience in the same sentence, but it's something I've really been struggling with. And so when my guy today asked me what I'm working on, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of like trying to vet out this process or this thought or this belief system around aggressive patience and how I can utilize that to move myself in the direction that I want to go. So I said to him the same thing. I was like, I'm not even sure where this came from. I said, so here you go. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but here's the brain dump that I sent him back on this. Because he sent me back and said aggressive patience with like exclamation marks, question marks. And he's like, I'm intrigued. Let's unpack this. Like, give me more. Like, I need to know, like, what are we talking about here? Tell me more. And the guy that's in my circle, super intelligent, great guy, like really monumental in my growth and my success. I suggested all of you guys, and that you listen, you're here, so you've already kind of got the makings of that. I suggest that all of you really fortify yourselves with human beings that are unbelievably amazing, like amazing character, amazing drive, amazing levels of support, accountability, like not just a bunch of rah-rah cheerleader type folks, but I'm talking like people that are really going to push you to that next level of life. And the fact that you're here means you're already interested in that, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to do that for you. And the fact that I'm even going to share this concept with you and get you to start thinking a little deeper about your own personal journey and your own personal life is a step in that direction. And so here's what I sent him back. And I said, the aggressive pursuit of success. And then in parentheses, I put goals, dreams, purpose, happiness, wealth, health, positive connections. And that's AKA, that's what I consider to be abundance. If you guys listen to me at all, you know that I talk about abundance incessantly. It's like my favorite word. If I was ever going to put a tattoo on a Rolls Royce, like I'd probably get the word abundance somewhere on my body, because it's been my word of the year for the last 3 years. It's what I write in my journal the first thing every single day. It's what I read about, I talk about, I think about. But that's what abundance means to me. It's everything encompassed in my life. It's my goals, my dreams, my purpose, my happiness, my wealth, my health, my positive connections, my love, my relationships. All of those things for me equal abundance. So I said the aggressive pursuit of success, aka abundance, coupled with the peace of mind that I'm on the right path with the right people, pursuing the right purpose, and that my vision for my life is so big that it's going to take time, the patience piece of the puzzle, right? So it's the aggressive pursuit of wanting that abundance, like wanting my goals, wanting my dreams, like wanting to like fulfill my purpose, like wanting to be unbelievably happy and wealthy and healthy and have unbelievable connections, like that abundance coupled with the peace of mind that I'm on that journey. Like I'm on that right path. I've got the right people in place. It's the right purpose. It's the vision that I have for my life. But that vision is so freaking big, it's going to take some time, Jay. So you got to be cool. Like you can't be just a madman psycho on this pursuit. And this is what I think is going to help some of you guys. Aggressive patience, because some of you guys are so aggressive in your pursuit of what it is that you want that you allow yourself to get derailed because you don't get it quick enough. But if you could develop this concept and you could start to utilize this in your own thought process, it's like, listen, that is great. It's great to be aggressive. It's great to be, I'm unrealistic. I am unrealistic with a lot of things. But if I can be unrealistically patient, that means that I know that I'm being a little bit crazy with the pursuit that I'm on. But it also means I'm willing to go too far. Like I've got a belief system that if you're not willing to go too far, you'll never go far enough. So I'm willing to push the envelope on what it is that I want to get out of life. At the same time, having to understand that what I want is so vast that it's going to take me some patience to get there. And then I said, and during that time, and I put time in parentheses, I have to be able to find fulfillment. I can find fulfillment in the journey and in the process of knowing that what I desire is a moving target. It's a moving target based on the expansiveness of thoughts, abilities, resources, opportunities. Because as I grow, it's going to grow. So if I look at it in that context, I'm actually never going to get the thing that I want right now. Think about that. Like I'm never going to get the thing that I want right now, because the thing that I want right now, as I grow and get closer to it, isn't going to be the thing that I want anymore. Does that make sense? Like as I'm expanding toward the person that I know I'm supposed to be, born to be, like what I want in this moment isn't going to be it anymore. Because as I grow, my goals and my dreams are going to grow with me. So it's imperative that I find fulfillment on the journey. So for you, it's imperative that you find fulfillment in the process of getting to where it is you want to go. Make sense? And that based on that belief system, this is what this is my notes to him. I'm saying, based on that belief system, I'll never truly reach that place. I'll never truly reach that place in time because it's infinite in its scope. But so are the rewards of being on the path. And so it's a net positive outcome for me. So I know I know I'm never going to get to where I want to go. I will expire before I exceed my expectations of myself. I won't be able to live long enough to exceed my expectations of what I believe I'm capable of and what I believe I'm here to do. But the path in and of itself is so rewarding that that's fulfillment, that's positivity. And that's where you guys have to get on your journey. Like the path and the journey that you're on to where it is that you think you want to go right this very second has to be rewarding for you, or you won't stay on that path. And then lastly, I said, I think it's my rationale for doing everything I can to be successful and always wondering if it's enough. And the logic of knowing that true greatness takes time and patience. And the belief that my life as it stands today is abundant and is awesome. Right? So it's the rationale of knowing that everything that I'm doing to be successful on a daily basis. Same thing for you. Like you're doing everything possible on a daily basis to get what it is that you want on your journey. Let's just look, we're talking weight loss here, on your weight loss journey. And yet sometimes I bet you wonder if you're still doing enough. That's okay. That's normal. That is so normal. But you've got to have the belief and the knowledge to know that greatness takes time and patience. What you want is going to take time. Your weight loss journey is going to take you time. But you also have to believe that the life that where you stand today is valuable, is fulfilled, is abundant, is awesome, so that you can continue to move in the direction of where it is you want to go. And then lastly, I said this might be the conundrum of all that seek more. I'm not 100% sure, but I suppose it's the certainty of being uncertain that keeps me wanting more. So that's just an insight into my brain as it stood today during my morning walk and work. And I thought about you guys as I was kind of like unpacking that as I moved through today, is that this is where most of you guys get stuck. Like you've got the aggressiveness. Some of you do, right? Like some of you have the aggressiveness, but you're not coupling it with the patience and understanding of knowing that what it is that you want to get is going to take time. And it's not going to be linear. And that you've got to be able to see the beauty and the fulfillment and the joy in the process, or you'll just quit. You'll just simply quit. And you'll quit because you'll quit because the number one reason people fail on a journey is called repetition fatigue. Repetition fatigue is doing the same things over and over and over and over again and getting to a point where you become complacent at them. And when complacency gets entered into your life, gets entered into the equation, that's when bad habits start to rear their heads again. And that's when you fall back into the process. I've had a couple of coaching calls this week with some people that are struggling, some people that have had unbelievable success. I'm talking like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pound weight losses that are now struggling a little bit. Do you know why they're struggling? Because it's normal. This is a lifelong process. Like this isn't something that you do for a minute or a moment. Like living a life worth living is something that has to be done on the daily. It's not something you can just check in and out of. And that's what most of you guys do with this journey. Like if you just got to where it is you wanted to go and then you stopped checking out and you just checked in and you stayed aggressively patient, you'd never have to struggle. But you get complacent. And every one of the people that I talked to said, when I said, what do you think it was? They said, I got too comfortable in my process. I got too comfortable in the journey. Right? Because that's, as humans, that's what we seek is comfort. But unfortunately, you don't grow when you're comfortable. And there's no such thing as being stagnant. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward in life. That's just the way it is. Like you don't just get to stand still. Like you're either going forward or backward. And so this repetition fatigue hits everybody. And when you get complacent in that repetition fatigue and you don't have the circle necessary around you and or you don't utilize the circle necessary around you, which is the problem that some of these guys are having, then you get complacent and bad habits sneak back in. It's a lifelong opportunity. And the truly successful don't get bored with the basics. And that's all life is the basics. That's all success is the basics. There's misconceptions that there's these like giant grandiose swings of the axe, and those just aren't true. Like true success in anything you're going to do in your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, that's probably the easiest one for you guys to understand. Like, aren't the best relationships you have the ones that are just like the basics are always there? the respect, the honesty, the loyalty, the love, the caring, the empathy, the connection. Like, aren't those the best? Right? Because you know what you're going to get. Like, those are the best relationships. Those radical ones, I mean, yeah, when you're younger, maybe those are cool, right? Like those the crazy chick or the crazy bad boy dude. Yeah, I mean, for a minute, maybe like when you're like 18. But as adults, like, we're past all that, right? We avoid that like the plague. But yet that's the relationship you have with yourself. Right? So you got to get those basics hammered in. You can be aggressively patient and have success. But if you get aggressive with no patience and then repetition fatigue kicks in, what's going to happen? You're going to quit. You're going to fall back to your old habits. And then you're going to introduce complexity into that. You're going to make things harder than they need to be. Because as humans, that's what we do. We make things harder than they need to be. And lastly, before we move on, I'll say this. Attention is required for things that you care about. Think about all the things in your life you care about. You have to give them attention. Like, most of you guys have kids. Most of you guys, I'm assuming, care about your kids. You would never treat your kids with the following words. And this is what I hear you guys say about your health and your fitness and your wellness. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's not worth it. It's too much. It's too hard. I'm too tired. Would you speak those words? You may think them from time to time. Listen, you're human. I get it. But in reality, you'd never, ever not give your children the attention that is required. But you won't even give yourself the attention that's required. You use phrases like that. This doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's not worth it. It's too hard. I don't care. It's not worth it. I'm not worth it. I'm too tired to care. Does anybody with a baby ever say, I'm too tired to care? No. Because attention is required for things you care about. Success requires attention. Valuable things require attention, or they expire. They go away. You're valuable. Look at the attention Angie is giving to herself now and what is happening. Life is getting better. Been on a medication for 12 years. What would have happened if she wouldn't have given it the necessary attention herself? She would be on that medication for the rest of her life, and her life wouldn't be as long or as awesome. And then there'd probably be another medication that had to come in on top of that, and then another one and another one and another one. But because she gave it the necessary attention required, the medication is no longer needed. Because it does matter. Because you do care. Because you are worth it. Because it's not too much. It's not too hard. You're not too tired. Like, you've got to stop using that language. You've got to stop believing those things. Before you go, I'd just like to say thank you again for listening to the Thrive Forever Fit podcast and watching on YouTube. It means the absolute world to me. And if you would do me one favor, and that is simply subscribe and review this podcast on whatever platform it is that you enjoy it on. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, doesn't matter. I would absolutely be so grateful and so thankful if you do that for me. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you again next week with an awesome, awesome episode. Bye.